Hey moms, welcome to the Gather Moms podcast. My name is Kate.
And I'm Rebecca. We've created this space just for you because we're both moms and we get you.
Yes, we believe there truly ain't no hood like the motherhood, and we need to be in this together. We also believe we can't mom well without Jesus, so you're going to hear us talk about him too.
Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Gather Moms and make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss a single episode.
All right, mamas, let's jump in.
Hey moms, welcome back to the Gather Moms podcast. Guess what episode it is?
101.
We have made it over. It feels like you went over the mountain. You know on Price is Right, the little guy that climbs the mountain to guess the grocery
that's
prices?
a throwback.
And like if he falls over the mountain, you lose. But guess what? Gather Moms is not losing.
No.
We're over the mountain on the other side.
Winning, gaining steam.
Winning. We are so excited that you're with us today because we have one of our very favorite people, Jenny. We love
Hi,
you, Jenny.
guys. I'm so happy to be here. It was so fun to be at the podcast live and get to be a part of the live recording of the 100th episode. I know all the moms that were in the room just loved it. It was so much fun to see their faces and get to see y'all in person because some of them had never met y'all. So it was so fun to get to see them be like, oh my goodness, I know so much about you, and they feel like they're your best friends.
Oh, it's so fun. Well, and we had moms that came that don't listen to the podcast.
I was
Right.
shocked. I was like, wow, that's a big, you're just like banking on us. Good job,
Right,
people.
but like a friend invited them or whatever.
No,
so
I
they
had
came.
a friend that did that. Yeah,
Yeah.
she saw me post about it. She was like, I didn't even know there was a podcast.
Yeah. Well, and then our friend Allie invited some friends, and they were like, "We're coming," and she was like, "Oh, I didn't even know y'all listened to the podcast," and they were like, "Oh, we don't. What? Tell us more." So anyway, it was just super fun.
I
We've
loved
got brand
it.
new listeners,
Yeah.
all from a great event.
I love it. It
Yeah.
was great. It was great to celebrate y'all and all that you've accomplished in the last couple of years since, August of 2000? Is that right?
2020.
2020.
You took us all the way back to 2000, Jen. I mean, that'd be
2000.
awesome.
2020. No,
If
we
we
were
only
all
had-
still in college in
We
2000.
only had 100 episodes from 2000. Man, we are
2020.
slacking.
Yeah.
Yeah, in
I need
2000
some coffee
podcasts, I
today.
don't even think we're a thing,
No.
right?
No.
We could have
didn't
been
even have
first.
phones.
We could have
so,
been the first.
Yeah. It was the
We
bag
did-
phone
we
days.
had phones.
Bag phone days.
Yeah.
Yeah. In
No,
the
I'm
car.
older than y'all. I don't even want to talk about phones. Listen, one of my favorite parts of the night was, and Jenny, I think maybe this was your idea, is to have a table for moms that came maybe without friends. And we had a sweet volunteer that stood at that table with a big sign that said, alone, come sit with me.
Yeah.
And I have talked to several moms that saw that sign when they came in, felt so excited to know exactly where to go sit,
Yeah.
and ended up finding friends when they came not
Yes.
knowing what kind of experience they would have.
Yes, I love that. We did that at a few gather events that we've had. And, I just think it helps moms so much overcome the barrier. They're already nervous coming by themselves.
Right.
And especially when there's tables of 9 and, which ones are seat, you come, is the seat taken? Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You're like, where do I sit?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was just such a win to have a place for them and just to say, it's okay to come by yourself because we're all about helping you find community. That's why we're here.
Well, and she filled up a table and had to go to the next table
Yeah.
to keep filling it up with more. So I just want to applaud those moms and say, I am just like, you have got some guts.
Way to be brave.
Way to be brave. And thank you for being obedient to come because
Yeah.
God bless that because you did that. So
Right.
way to go, moms. Good job.
Yeah, it's crazy how many moms are lonely. When I shared at the event after you guys finished recording the podcast, I talked with the moms there just about, research says that 90% of moms with young babies are lonely, right? And every mom remembers that stage of maybe you had a job before and you had community, and then all of a sudden you're at home and maybe your friends from college or high school don't have kids.
Right.
And all of a sudden you're like, who are my friends?
Yeah.
I got to meet some other moms. I got to ask them questions about breastfeeding and nipples protectors and nipple brushes, all the things that.
I think that was the first time we've said nipple on the podcast.
Oh.
And now it's been
And it was
said
Jenny.
twice. So
It
way
was
to go,
me.
dude.
Okay.
Hey, and Jenny grew up in the bubble too. So
I was
way to get out of the bubble, Jen.
Yeah. Well, it's a real thing that when you have a newborn, you want to talk about all those things. And then there's moms that move here from all over the place. People are moving so much. It's not just to Texas. Like, there's the jokes of everybody from California moving to Texas, which is legitimately true.
Yeah.
But I've talked to people in other states, I've talked to people in Utah and other Oklahoma, Florida. Like, people are like, yeah, everybody's moving here too.
Yeah.
So I don't know where they're all coming from and what states are like empty now, but apparently people still live in California. I guess they do. But
They do.
So it's just neat to see, like, wherever you are, you need community. And if you've left that, if you're in a new season, sometimes moms just, maybe their kids are grown now. Mm-hmm. And I think as as you're a mom, your kids' friends' moms become your friends,
Yes,
right?
Definitely.
Because you're at the sporting events together, you're at the cheerleading competitions or whatever.
And then when they leave house, you don't have that place
You
to
don't
go
have that
see them anymore.
Right. Yeah. Right. And so you don't have anything in common to talk about as much. And so, you're kind of in a new season trying to find new friends, or maybe your kids got married and moved off and you decide to follow them to babysit and keep the grandkids.
Right.
And again, you don't have any friends,
Yes.
And so I think as moms, it's not something that we just struggle with once in our life. I think it's something that happens over and over and over again where we find ourselves in a new season. And there may be some people that you can call lifetime, lifelong friends that you've had forever, but not everybody is fortunate to have those. And sometimes friendships change and distance separates you in different seasons. And so we just want moms to know that you don't have to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not healthy for you to be alone.
That's right. It's not.
So I think, as moms, oftentimes we think everybody else has friends.
Yeah.
And so you look
Doesn't it
around.
feel that way? You feel like, well, everybody else has got somebody.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, TV shows like Friends, like everybody has a group and you feel like you're the only one that doesn't have those people, And so I think, especially social media, you see people out with other friends. Well, just because they went out with someone, in a girls' night doesn't mean that they're super close friends,
Right. True.
And that you're not the only one at home not having a girls' night. It's just, it's just social media, I think, causes that even more for moms to feel lonely. And the more that you feel that way, the more you just pull inward.
Yes.
And your confidence is gone. You just feel like no one wants to be your friend.
Yep.
Maybe you've had a bad experience where you had another mom say to you, oh, I think, I don't think that's going to work out, or I'm too busy. And then you see that she's doing something else. And, so I think we've all had those times where you feel hurt or you feel like, I knew it. I knew nobody really, there's this about me that nobody likes.
Reaffirm some message in you.
Yeah, that the lies that you just said, a couple of podcast episodes ago.
Right.
The lies that you're telling yourself.
Yeah.
And I think as the friend thing is definitely a lie, that a trap that a lot of moms fall into.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's totally a tactic of the enemy, because if he can get you by yourself, he can do so much damage in your life. It's when we get around other people and we say something and that person goes, wait a second, that's not true. You need people in your life to call out the enemy's attack on you. And
So true.
Listen, moms, if you're by yourself, the enemy wants you to be. So you've got to say to him, no, I refuse to fall into this.
Right. And God didn't create us to be alone.
Right.
When we look at scripture all throughout the Bible, he is constantly a God of community.
Yeah.
So he himself is a Trinity, so the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Right.
But even in the Garden of Eden, he walked with Adam and Eve. He was there in community with them.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, one of their greatest losses of sin was that community that they lost with God.
Yeah.
But he continued to want to have a relationship with them. So even outside of the garden, he continued to meet with them, meet with Moses at the burning bush, on the mountaintop, to have the temple where he actually dwelt inside, where the people could come and know, or the pillar of fire and the cloud, that followed them through the desert and led them through. It was, God was consistently saying, I'm still here for you. You still need community with me, and you need community with each other.
Yes.
We see so many relationships in the Bible and so many friendships, and, Moses and Aaron and Joshua and Caleb. And there's lots of great friendship examples also in the Bible. But ultimately, God reminded us of his desire to commune with us through sending Jesus for us, because he said, I'm going to send my son to be amongst you and to bridge that gap forever. And then the Holy Spirit is, what we get to have in that community. And so, the Bible also talks about in Psalms how he puts the lonely in families.
Yeah.
Adoption is a perfect picture of that, and how he takes us and he adopts us, and then we can adopt children and put them in families. And just what a beautiful picture of community that is. Yeah. And so God, he's not someone that's like, oh, just figure it out on your own. It's okay for you to be in your house by yourself. He wants us to be in community. He's modeled that in community. He's said it for us in scripture and examples of community. And so I think a lot of moms, feel like, well, it's okay. I just will stay in my house and my husband's my friend and that's it. And God's saying, no, I have so much more for you.
Yeah.
And not just for you, but maybe there's another mom that needs you.
Yeah. Oh, that's the thing. It's like we are so caught up in ourselves that we think, oh, it's my problem. It's my whatever. But there's another mom out there, and it's like God has meant for you to fill a void in her life. But if you're not going to be obedient, then you're going to miss out on that blessing that other mom needs from you.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I think about loneliness. I think about that when we feel that way, that's a signal that something is not quite right. Like I was just talking with Caleb yesterday about how all the ways that God has wired us to kind of the things that we don't even think about that help tell our bodies, you're missing something or something's not right. So think about hunger pains. Like, isn't that the craziest thing, that God wired us so that we feel hungry and we know it's time to eat,
Yeah.
Or like our mouth gets really dry and we're like, oh my goodness, I need something to drink. Like there's all these things, tiredness, these physical things that I think that we're really familiar with, but even forget about because it's just part of our daily life. But I think the same is true. Like when we feel lonely, that should trigger to us, hey, something's not right, because the way that God created me, this is signaling that I'm missing out on something that should be in my life. And just in the same way that we have to go and find food, we have to go and get water, but you have to go and find friends. And, I think we can even just get so used to that feeling that we can, potentially grow numb to it. I guess if I'm going to work the metaphor out more, it would be like, if you've been eating and, you've just been eating dog food to kind of satisfy your hunger, but then someday somebody hands you a steak and you go, whoa, I've just been barely getting by. This is so much better. I feel like settling for just being in our house with our kiddos is, bless. I mean,
you about to say it? It's dog food.
You knew where I was going.
I knew exactly where you were going.
I mean, they're precious, wonderful gifts from the Lord. But I think we don't even realize that we're settling.
Yeah.
And then you go hang out with some girlfriends, and you're like, "Whoa, this is eating steak. I could be doing this."
I think they'd actually be eating tacos. I'm just saying.
But I think. Just two things, though, stand out to me there, though, that we have this natural, if you feel lonely, that's because God has wired you to be in community, and so you're missing out. And if you're just kind of satiating that need with just kind of the bare minimum, I would just say, kind of like what you said, Jenny, there's just so much more. He has so much more for us.
Yes. Yeah. I've been reading this book called Holy Hayuga.
Oh, is that how you say it?
Hayuga? I think so.
It's not Hayi.
It says right here, Hyuga.
Yeah, she's got the pronunciation
Hyuga.
on the book.
Hyuga.
But
Hyuga.
it's Hygge. For people that are listening and not watching this on YouTube.
Yes.
Okay, I've always, when I read that word,
Holy Hag.
Holy Hag.
Holy Hag.
Okay,
Holy
so if you're not familiar with that, I have loved this term for a while now because it is a Danish. I'm like a Swedish heritage, and so I just love all the things Norwegian, Swedish, Danish, all the things. So it's a Danish term where people, it's very cold in those countries.
Yeah,
it's very cold.
Whatever, not here.
Not here.
World geography.
Very
Good
cold.
job.
And they are, but they're some of the happiest people in the world, is what surveys say.
Yeah.
Okay. And the reason is because they have Hyuga.
Okay.
Spelled Hyuga. GGE. Okay. And that is like a cozy warmth. They can't even really define it. It's just this like comfortableness. Okay, think back to if you do, like in Texas, we get the ice storms and we stay in our home and you just do puzzles, you have the fire going, you have some candles, you make hot chocolate, everybody's warm and cozy. That's hygge. Okay. So they have to do that for months at a time.
Sure.
And
Kate would lose her mind.
right.
Lose my mind.
Right. But because they have hygge, they don't lose their mind.
So it's an intentional way.
It's an intentional way of living, of saying, hey, there's certain things I'm going to be grateful for. And part of that is their community.
Okay.
So they're saying that even if I'm in, you may be a mom that's listening right now and you're snowed in somewhere. So even if you are in a dark, lonely place, that community can still happen in there.
Like they put down their snowshoes. And
yeah.
Those are.
They make a
tennis
warm
rackets.
pot of soup.
They wear tennis
They invite
rackets on
some
their
people over. They play music, hang out, like just enjoy community because that is.
I love it.
It brings joy to them.
Yeah.
Okay. Instead of just being miserable in their circumstances.
Yeah.
And so I think that translates to wherever you are, that you don't have to just stay in that dark place.
That's good.
That you can open your door, invite people in.
Yeah.
It's not about a perfect home. It's not about a perfect meal you're offering people. It's just saying, hey, would you just come over and hang out with me?
Yeah.
And just making it a warm place where people feel welcome and that you feel that community and that void. And so it does take an initial step of you doing something.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us just hope that this best friend is just going to show up and meet us at the park one day and we're just going to be best friends forever and they're going to be over at our house helping us fold laundry in 2 weeks, you know? That's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
One of our mentors that we love, Marcia Mason, always said that it takes a long time to grow an old friend.
That's
Yes.
right.
And it is so true because it is, there's some people you have an instant connection with.
Sure.
But there's sometimes that it just takes a lot of intentional effort to build that community and to build that relationship. So you just have to start out small and slow. So if you put yourself out there and you go to a church and you meet another mom there, okay, well, don't just leave it there. Reach out to her that week, ask for her number and send her a text and say, hey, it was really nice to meet you. Would you like to meet for a coffee this week?
Yeah.
Okay. And then after that, follow up and say, hey, it was so fun visiting with you. Is there anything I can pray for you about this week?
Yeah.
Just those easy, simple steps. Drop a little note by her mailbox, swing by. And in this book, it talks about learning your friend's favorite things and taking notes in your phone and saying, okay, I overheard her order this drink at Starbucks.
Cute.
I overheard her order this dessert. I know that she loves these hobbies.
Love it.
And that you intentionally think about that and you make notes in your phone to remember those things so that you can surprise them. And that's how people want to be friends with somebody like that. There's not many people like that in this world.
Yeah.
So if you intentionally look outside yourself, it's a great next step for helping you find that community and inviting people in, just being vulnerable. Being vulnerable is the first step to building that intentional community.
Yeah.
And it's hard because you might get rejected.
Yeah.
And it says that, 3 out of 5 moms are wanting community. So you might meet one of the 4 or 5 that already has community. And she might be like, no, I'm good. I don't think I really have time to get together this next month or 2 months or, anytime in the future. And you're like, I knew it. She didn't want to be my friend.
Yeah.
But there's 1, 2, and 3 out of the 5 that are out there still.
We got to go find them.
Yeah. So just keep looking. Say, okay, well, that one didn't work out or we didn't really get along or our kids hate each other or whatever. Like, okay, just keep going.
Yeah.
Keep asking, keep finding new friends. And eventually, God's going to provide just the right fit for you. And it may not be a best friend. It may not be one person. Jesus didn't have one friend that he spent all of his time with.
Right.
So he had a couple of guys that were super close to him. And then he had the disciples, which was a larger group. And then he had a lot of followers outside of that. So there's definitely, circles of people that you're going to have, maybe some close friends, but then there's going to be a lot of people that are in your circles and community that you can call on at any point And they don't have to be a best friend. You know, I read recently a leadership guy I follow on Instagram was saying that having best friends is actually a new cultural phenomenon.
Okay.
That's not something that has historically been called something. I think it's just a few generations. You know, when we were young, a lot of girls had best friends.
Yeah.
But that it's not something that in all of history has been common to have just one best friend.
Okay.
That having a group of friends, because they all provide something different to you.
Yeah.
So one person is not going to be able to meet all of your needs.
Yeah.
And especially if you go through a hard season, that's going to be a lot for that one friend to navigate through. But if you have a whole group of friends that can help carry those burdens with you, then that's how God created us to do life, is together. So don't be looking just for that one person necessarily. Look for a group of people that all have the same common values as you, same desires to raise their kids, and that you really love being with and have fun with. And then just throw yourself into those relationships. Yeah. Try to just pour into them and love on them and be intentional. And if you find yourself having a hard time finding those people, I think the first thing you need to do is just pray.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, you said it just a second ago. You said, and then God will provide.
Yeah.
It's almost like we feel like it's like a game. Like, am I going to meet her today? But we forget that God is actually sovereign over that. Mm-hmm. And he already has people that he has put on this earth to be your friend. Mm-hmm. So it's walking in obedience, trusting that God has her out there, has several hers out there. Yeah. And we're going to pray and ask him to lead us to those relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, you know, once you've prayed and you've given that to the Lord, then listen for the Holy Spirit to say to you, hey, go say something to her.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because that's how you two met, you know? Yeah. It's like God just saying, hey, go do this, and you being obedient. Yeah. Because it's really easy to be like, no, they look busy. I don't want to bother them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But saying, okay, God's telling me to go say something. I'm just going to go up to her and talk to her.
Yeah.
And then just seeing where God leads that.
Yeah.
So I think that's, important for moms to remember, being vulnerable, looking outside yourself, not putting so much expectations on moms. Mm-hmm. Remember that every mom is as busy as you are.
Yeah.
So if she can't meet right away, it may not be because it's you.
Yeah.
It may just be she's in a busy season.
Yes.
And just giving grace to her for that. Or if it's a friend that you've had for a while and all of a sudden she is missing and ghosting you on your text messages, well, it's probably not because she hates you all of a sudden and don't think that you said something that offended her. It's probably that she's just overwhelmed with life and is having trouble keeping up.
Have you had that happen lately? I've had that happen lately, where I read a text from a friend that I love dearly, and then I completely forget to respond.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it's almost like for 24 hours, I don't remember. And then all of a sudden it hits you and you're like, oh, she probably thinks I hate her because I didn't text her back.
Right.
But sometimes our brains just have too much in them to keep up with what's going on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and okay, guys, listen, I need Apple. Are you listening? I need text messages. You know how you can like in your email, you can like flag or pin a text, whatever. I need to be able to like mark unread, or
You can do that.
you can pin text, but you can't like go back and like
Yes, you can.
leave a notification. No, you cannot.
Like flag it.
I'm about to Google that when we get off this.
You
I'm gonna figure it
100%
out.
cannot.
Somebody told me the other day they could. They said they intentionally go back and mark things unread so that they have to go back and respond to them.
Well, if that is real,
But y'all people too organized. I don't have time to be marking things unread. So
I
I'm
just
gonna
know
have
like
to pray.
a text will come in from somebody and I'll see it and I know I want to respond, but I know I can't like give it. It's going to take like, I need to look at a calendar or something like that before I respond, but I've already clicked it. So now the little notification isn't there anymore.
Falls down in the list.
So that's all I'm saying is I need it to be able to like ping back up to the top.
You're probably the person that has like an inbox that says 0 on your phone too.
I'm sitting at 67 text messages right now and it is wearing me out.
Okay, never mind. That's more than I have. That's intense.
Yeah. It's just wearing me out,
Yeah.
you know? Sometimes
And then
your
you throw
life
in
is
like
that.
voicemails occasionally.
Yeah.
And it's like, those are just like forgotten
Forget it.
by me.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, people, if you're leaving me a voice.
unfortunately, I use my phone
not
for business
listening.
purposes. So it's getting me in some hot water because I I have a voicemail and then forget about it and then
Sure.
never listen to it. And then I'm like, people are like, did you get my voicemail? I'm like, oh.
Listen, let's talk about voice text though. That's genius.
Voice texts are great, except for when they go wrong. Like I'll have recorded 3 minutes and then I move my finger or something wrong,
didn't
and it's
record.
gone. And I'm like, that is the rudest thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm like, Holy Spirit, was that you? Like, was I?
I shouldn't have said all that.
Let me do it again and edit it down a little bit. You know,
So true.
So true. Well, as you know, at Gather Moms, obviously we all want moms to be in community.
yeah,
And so that is something that we pour a lot of effort into, is helping moms not be lonely,
Yeah.
to help them find community. And so we provide really easy ways for moms to do that. So if you find a group of moms that maybe you don't even know them that well, a great way to get to know them is to invite them to a group in your home.
Yep.
Okay. And you have to be the one to start that. You can't wait for somebody else to start that, because there's moms around you that need you. They need that community.
yeah,
And so you have to be brave enough to step out and say, hey, I'll be the one to start something.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have the great thing that we got to talk about at the Podcast Live event was that we have brand new resources that just launched at the beginning of the year for our Gather Moms groups. So currently we have Gather Moms groups meeting in half of the states of America.
amazing. Is that real?
Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
Actually, over half, because it's 26.
Is that real?
Is that real? I just made it up. Oh,
I didn't mean you made it up. It's just that's awesome.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
Too good to be true.
Too good to be true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And some in Canada and different provinces.
Canada.
Yes.
We love you, Canada.
Uh-huh.
We had a sweet lady in Germany start a group, in
Yep.
Guatemala, and then we still have
amazing.
Viola in Nigeria. And
Yeah.
so it's just been really fun to see moms all over the globe that need community.
Yeah.
And so we were able to put together some new resources for our Gather Moms groups.
Yeah.
And one of them is our Mom Struggle curriculum. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the beautiful new study guide that we have. So before, we had the Family Values Gather Mom study. So it was this one. And that is kind of our introductory one. So if
Yeah.
you're starting a new Gather group, this is a great one to start with
Yeah.
if you have kids in your home.
It talks about all the different ways that you can put principles and traditions into your calendar and your life to teach your kids like respect and responsibility and things like that. So
Yeah.
family values is awesome.
Yeah. So then the Mom Struggles, we recorded also with Right Now Media, just like we did the Family Values. So when you are starting a Gather group, all you have to do is get if you don't have a Right Now Media access through your church, we have a direct link that they've given us so that your group can
free.
just watch. Yeah, it's free.
Yeah.
A 10-minute little introductory conversation video where the three of us plus two of our friends visit about each of these mom struggles. Do y'all have anything y'all want to share about the videos and how much fun it was to record
Yeah,
it?
they're fun, and I think it's beautiful what Right Now was able to pull off with us, because it really represents kind of what we're hoping to see in homes, where it's authentic, casual conversation about the topic.
Being vulnerable.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So some of the topics, we talked about loneliness. So that's one of the topics in here. Like we basically did a survey of moms and said, what are your top struggles? And then we covered all of those in there. So like the first one is comparison. We talk about marriage and technology. We cover anything that you feel like is probably a struggle, we cover it in here.
Yep.
And so this is great because you can follow along with the video, and then you can use this as a discussion guide in your group. So when you host a Gather Moms group, it is not you leading a Bible study. It's not you being a teacher. It's none of that. It is you just opening your front door, clearing off a space on the couch, and letting mom sit down.
There you go.
Right?
Just put that laundry in the other room. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, you
Throw it
just
in the
close the
oven.
door. Who cares? Yeah, the oven.
The oven?
That might be
I'm
dangerous.
going to preheat the oven. and
Yeah,
burn the
I don't
clothes
know.
out.
I had a friend that I showed up to
Makes
her
me a
house,
little
and I was like,
nervous.
everything looks great. And she goes, don't open the oven. And I was like, what?
She put it in the oven.
Yeah, I mean, I would never do that, but I just thought that was funny.
That is funny. So yeah, so just, it doesn't have to be, it's better if it's not perfect.
Yeah, right.
It's better.
Right.
So just turning on Right Now Media, watching the video together, and then having a 20, 30-minute discussion about it, talking about the challenges of being a mom, So we have this as a great resource for you to be able to start a Gather Moms group and keep it just really simple and easy for you. You could have 2 moms there. You could have 20 moms
That's
there,
right.
whatever size it is. You can meet at your church. You can meet at your home. You can meet at a coffee shop.
Yep.
Whatever works for you.
And we're going to put the links to all those in the show notes too.
Yeah. So all of these are available on Amazon, which is awesome because
Yeah.
you can have it here like tomorrow probably.
Yeah.
Okay, if you are a mom that has teenagers and is launching your kids to either college or adulthood, this is the resource for you to start community groups.
It's called
The Launch. Yeah.
So creative.
So creative.
Yeah.
I know, because, originally we were going to call it empty nesting. And then we found out that was very offensive and very sad for people to
It
have an
is
empty
sad.
nest.
It
Really,
Yes.
actually, I mean, when you think about it, it is a sad term.
Yes.
Yeah,
I agree.
So now it's
Launching
launching.
feels-
it's like you're doing
Feels
something
like we're getting
meaningful.
on a
You're shooting the
spaceship.
arrows
Yeah.
out.
There we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is a great resource for moms to go through that are struggling with those situations. Like, how do I navigate dating with my college student? How do I communicate with them now? How do I
Yes.
deal with me feeling lonely? What's my purpose now that they're gone out of my house?
So good.
So this is a great resource if you're in that season, or if you even know someone that is and you want to send them a copy of it.
Yeah.
It's a great idea. And then our last one that we just launched is Legacy of Love. And so this is for moms who have adult children. So maybe they've been out of your home for a few years. Maybe they're married. Maybe they're not. Maybe you have grandbabies. Whatever that looks like for you. This is important topics for you to know that, even in that new season, that you have a purpose.
Amen.
I think a lot of times
my
as
gosh,
moms, we
yes.
feel like my job's done.
Yes.
Sure.
The kids are grown. Now I
Yeah.
just am a babysitter for the grandkids.
Yeah.
Nope. There's
Right.
so much more.
There's so much more.
Yeah.
And we just want you to learn how to be intentional with that time
Yeah.
and to, how to help you personally, how to help you build relationships, how to help you instill intentional values in your grandkids, whether they're near you or not.
Yeah.
So we talked through a lot of great things about this. And this was not written by Kate, Rebecca, and I because we don't
know.
we don't know. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
But we met with a lot of ladies with a lot of wisdom, and they
Yes.
helped form these lessons. And we're so thankful for the wisdom that they poured into this.
Yeah.
So we are thrilled to get to have those resources available to you
Yeah.
so that no matter what stage of momming you're in, there's something for you.
Yeah.
And you can start inviting moms over to your house, and we keep it super simple and try to make it where it's just you being intentional with, inviting those moms, making those connections, and building that community. And I know God's going to bless your faithfulness for doing that and
Yeah.
for being brave.
Yeah.
So just put yourself out there, moms.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to do the hard thing. Find community, go to church, meet moms in a life group or a small group or Sunday school class. Invite them over to your home, because 1 hour a week or even 1 hour a month in a gather group is not going to be enough to have that true community.
Yeah.
We want this to be a springboard for
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
to be able to build that community off of your gather group, off of your Sunday school class, so that you can delve into what it looks like to truly do life with other moms. So that's really our desire at Gather Moms, is to help give you the resources to do that. So we have a team that helps connect our gather group leaders together, so you're not alone out there. We provide resources to you, check in on you, help you have the abilities and answer your questions of things that come up in your gather groups.
Yeah.
So
Jenny, aren't you doing something in the next week where you're going to do like a Zoom?
That'll come out. This episode will come out after the Zoom. But if you need any information on groups, we'll put that in the show notes too. Just the link to the Facebook page, and then how to email to get more information about groups.
yeah, absolutely. So if you have any questions, we are available to answer those. We love helping, whether you email us at our group's email, or you connect on our website or on social media.
Yep.
The three of us love getting those messages and helping you find that community, helping your group get going.
Yeah.
And so we're always available. Yeah. And we're having a Zoom coming up. I'm sure we'll do a couple more in the next couple months where we can just get online together and chat for a while about what that looks like. So not only are you building a community of people around you, but you're also joining our community.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
And so we want you to be a part of what is happening through Gather Moms. So you being a part of that connects you to us. And we are just thrilled
we're
to
not
get
done.
to.
We got more stuff planned.
Oh, so much more.
Listen,
all the
people.
time. Yeah.
Y'all thought Podcast Live was good. We got some more. It's coming. People are already asking about the 200th
I know.
podcast live.
That's going to be a minute. Hey, Jenny, thank you so much for being with us today and for all you do to connect moms to community. I just love it, and I love that we get
It's
to
who
do
you
this
are.
together.
It literally seeps out of you.
Yeah, you're hookah or whatever.
Hooga.
Hookah. You said hookah. Hookah.
Hookah. Is that something you smoke?
Oh gosh.
That's not the bubble, Kate. That's
Hey,
not
wait,
in the bubble.
Wait, I got to tell you one more thing. Is the Heige Hugya? How do you say it?
Hooga.
Is it from Norway? Or
Denmark.
Sweden? Okay, girl. Listen, I feel like, can we clump all those people? Are they kind of together?
Yeah.
Oh my
they're-
gosh.
Yeah.
Everything's fun. I
Scandinavian.
don't think you can
That's
do
the
that.
It
that's
is
the
fun.
area. I was trying to think of the word. Scandinavian.
Okay, do you know about these moms who leave their babies outside in the stroller to sleep in the cold because it's good for them?
What?
I believe
Okay,
it.
legitimately. Okay, I'm about to circle back on TikTok. So there's-
China's listening.
So there's this, I just saw this TikTok video, and this guy was out walking around, and he just moved to Norway or something like that. So it was like weird, but he's gotten used to this phenomenon. But he said, this is how you know it's nap time in Norway. And he was walking out, I mean, this is like in a city area, and there's probably 30 strollers, and they're closed. And there's babies sleeping inside of them, and these mamas straight leave these babies to sleep in these strollers outside.
Wow.
What?
Is it because of the weather?
It's because it's supposed to be so much better for them to be out in the cold air napping. And
The
then
mom doesn't want to sit out there.
But this is like part of their custom. And I'm like, people not snatching babies, but apparently not.
Okay, if you live in a Scandinavian country and you're listening to
Please
this,
reach out to us.
we need to
tell
hear
us.
more about
Yes.
this and see if that's true.
Okay.
So that's
Yeah.
We
interesting.
need a gather group there so we can
Is that
go
real?
visit and see this in action.
Yeah.
Because I would want to look at all the strollers.
No, I just wanted to send all my kids out to sleep outside. I'm like, y'all are good. This is what they do in Norway. Everything's fine.
Your
This
kids
is
are
okay.
older. They're not babies anymore.
Get your sleeping
work.
bag, go out in the street.
No, it does not work that way.
Okay, sorry. Okay, let's try and wrap this up again. All right, Jenny, thank you so much for being with us. We're crazy
I
about
love
you.
being with y'all. It's so fun getting to be on the podcast with y'all. So thanks for having me.
Okay, bye, moms. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.